Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies. We are back with Mock Draft 3.0, and honestly, this is probably my favorite draft of them all. Let's jump right into it, and we're going to start off with a trade. The Saints move up in the first round, number 11 pick. I think this is the most realistic option. If a quarterback doesn't go in that top 10, one of the top 4 quarterbacks, I think the Saints should move up to 11 and trade with Tennessee. And in this trade, we got the number 11 pick. We also got a third-round pick. We gave up the first-round pick, which is number 29 this year from the Broncos. Next year, first, a fourth-rounder, and a fifth-rounder. Give us an A for that grade on PFF, and we're going to select Anthony Richardson with that pick. Now, this guy's a project quarterback. He's obviously, if you pick him at number 11, he's going to play right away. He's just basically, he has a lot of Josh Allen in this game. If you ask me, haven't watched a lot of him, but what I've seen so far, he has a lot of Josh Allen. Sky's the limit for him, though. If he could correct some things, get better in some areas, he can be an absolute stud. Threw for 2,500 yards this season, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 54% completion percentage. Now, those numbers don't look good, right? Let's take a look at Josh Allen numbers. 1,800 yards, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 56%. That was Josh Allen, his junior year in college, and he still went, number 7 or something like that in NFL draft. So the arm talent's there, has all of the tools to be an NFL quarterback, just has to get coached up, has to get in the right position to win, and this guy can be an absolute stud in the NFL. Ran for 654 yards, 9 touchdowns. Josh Allen ran for 523 yards, 7 touchdowns. So these guys' stats are going to be very, very similar. If I had to compare him to any quarterback in the NFL, I would say Josh Allen, but not the Josh Allen now. I'm not going to say he's the MVP Josh Allen, the guy that's an MVP candidate Josh Allen. He's not that. He's not that. He may not ever be that, but he has the potential to be that. That's probably his ceiling. So that's a pretty good ceiling to have. Josh Allen was not that his rookie season. It's gonna take some work. It's gonna take some time, but the guy's an absolute stud. And if the Saints draft him, we'll finally have a quarterback. We won't have to worry about who's playing that position, because Anthony Richardson can do it. And at worst, he'll tote it and he'll run the ball. Next up, Josh Downs, receiver from North Carolina. I mean, if we add this guy to Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave, this would be one of the most exciting receiving groups in the NFL. Speed, speed, speed. You pair that with Anthony Richardson as well. Josh Downs has a chance to run 4.2 at the NFL Combine. He's that fast. He's that good. At North Carolina, he was absolutely fantastic for these last 2 seasons, finishing not this season, but the year before. 101 catches, 1,300 plus yards, and 8 touchdowns this season. And he played 2 less games this season, had 94 catches, 1,030 yards, and 11 touchdowns. The dude's an absolute beast. He's fast, he's quick, he's explosive. He's basically everything you want in a high draft receiver, a guy that you know what you're going to get. He's going to be a deep threat. He's going to stretch the defenses. If you got Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed doing that on opposite sides as well, and you add Josh Downs in the slot, that would be absolutely fantastic. Olave, Downs, Rashid Shaheed, you're still going to have to find you a big receiver. Maybe Michael Thomas comes back. He has cryptic tweets every now and then. Who knows what that's going to do, man? I just have no idea what's going on with that. But drafting Josh Downs would be great for the Saints. And this also is a trade. The Saints, have the number 40 pick. I gave that to Seattle, so we moved back 11 picks, but we also gained the 83rd pick out of that and gave them a 5th rounder. So moving up, early in that 3rd rounder, but giving up a 2nd rounder. Next up, we got Isaiah Foskey, man, from Notre Dame. This guy's a really, really beast off the edge. He's violent. He's quick. He does all the things right. And he'll be a first guy maybe that we could get a defensive end that's not 270, not 280, not 290. Earlier this offseason, I was like, I wish we can get a defensive end or somebody off the edge that's just not, super, super big. A guy with a little bend, a guy with a little quickness. We just haven't had that with the Saints. We got the guys like Peyton Turner, who's big, Cam Jordan, who's big, Davenport, who's big. We haven't really got a guy that's a little smaller. Isaiah's listed at 6'5", 255. Now, that's not small by any means, but at defensive end, and with the Saints are used to having, that's pretty small in their book. So I would love for this guy to, be addition to this defensive line. Now, let's look at some of these numbers. The past 2 seasons, 9.5 tackles for loss. This past season, 13.5 tackles for loss. So obviously showing improvement there. And the past 2 seasons, he had 10.5 sacks apiece both seasons. So that's 21 sacks within 2 years and basically over 21, 22 tackles for loss. That is very, very good from a defensive end. We need a guy at defensive end. Don't know what, is going to happen with Davenport this offseason. I would assume he's going to be gone. If I'm going to be honest, I think somebody's going to overpay and then have at it. Overpay for somebody that has 0.5 sacks. So, man, we're going to have to address that edge. I mean, if you get your first 3 picks This is probably the three most important positions in the NFL. And the Saints will cover them in the first three picks. Where you got your quarterback, you got a receiver, and you got an edge rusher. I think that'll be a great opening to the draft for the Saints, especially because you're not going to have a first round pick next year. So you're going to have to address some needs if, this draft goes this way. Next up, we're going to go Keanu Benton from Wisconsin, defensive tackle, a guy that's listed at 6'4", 320 pounds, man. Only 21 years old. This is a big kid right here. Big, strong kid. This season, he had 10 tackles for loss and 4.5 sacks. That's pretty good from the defensive tackle position. He's the last guy to have double-digit tackle for loss at Wisconsin since, anybody can guess? His last name is Watt. That's how good he is. Obviously, he's not going to be J.J. Watt. Well, I didn't even mean to say J.J. Watt. T.J. Watt, he's not going to be him. But if he's either one of those guys, we'll take it. But a good, strong defensive tackle. We know defensive tackle was a weak point for the Saints last year. Anyamata, who's possibly a free agent, possibly not. Who knows what the Saints are going to do with him. He had a down year. Shy Tuttle, Malcolm Roach, Kentavious Street, none of those guys really stepped up to that plate and took on that D tackle number 2 role. So drafting a guy, at 21 years old, third round, that'll probably come in and start day one, or at least compete to start day one. I think that'll be a great addition to the team. And basically, these first 4 guys in the first 3 rounds, I think, can come in and play for the Saints. I mean, PFF like these. They like these grades. They give you the A for the first trade. You get an A+ for the quarterback. You get an A for a receiver. B- for that second trade, but that's okay because you get a B+ and an A. Like I said, I don't care what PFF thinks about these grades. I'm just going off what I think anyway. But hey, they agree with it so far. Next up, we're going to go Tyjae Spears, running back, Tulane. Like I said, PFF gives this a C-. Do not care. The trade, got the 98 pick, got 129 pick, gave up the 83rd pick. So moved back in the draft 7 spots, but gained a 4th rounder out of that. I think that'll be a good trade if the Saints can pull off something like that. It's always good to get, some of these picks late in the draft, get some guys, fill some needs, get some depth or whatever like that. So Tyjae Spears, he obviously came on the scene at Tulane this season, was already having a good career over there. But this past season, man, absolutely incredible. 1,581 yards, 19 touchdowns. That's absolutely crazy stats. Put on a show at the Senior Bowl. He's probably the best route runner in the draft. Him and Jahmyr Gibbs are probably the top 2 guys. I think I've mocked both of those to the Saints so far. Those guys can play. But Tyjae Spears in the 3rd round would be a heck of a pick. I think they have him going, kind of early 4th. I moved back to get him right here at the 90th position. Didn't want to wait too long. So got Tyjae Spears, another guy I think that's going to come in and play right away for the Saints. Going to, take some of that pressure off Alvin Kamara, especially if Kamara's suspended. I think it's a guy that can step in day one and probably be a starter. So you're looking at 5 guys that I've just named that can probably start for the Saints. Obviously, Tyjae Spears will have an asterisk next to his name if he's starting, because that means it's Alvin Kamara suspended, and obviously, Alvin Kamara is the starting running back. But 5 guys in the first 3 rounds. If the Saints can do that, the Saints can pull that off. 5 guys that's going to contribute. That'll be an excellent day at the office for the Saints. I think it's a solid trade. I think it's a first solid 5 picks, and we'll just talk about the last 3 guys as well. Now, once again, PFF likes these next 2 picks. We got cornerback Jartavius Martin. I've already stated this. Adebo, who was hurt last season, didn't really play well. Then you got Alontae Taylor, who played well and had his moments, as a rookie. Going against Davante Adams, going against Hopkins, played very, very well against them, but very injured. Marshawn Lattimore, very injured last season. Don't know what we're going to do with Bradley Roby. So a cornerback might be in the cards for the Saints. Again, drafting another corner. That'll be 3 years in a row. Drafting a corner pretty early. This will be a round 4 pick. If they do that, I wouldn't be surprised, especially after Alontae Taylor. We were all surprised last year when they took him. I think this guy would be a good fit for the Saints. Another guy that might come in and play. For the Saints. This guy's really, really good. Also, I'm not sure if he's going to be a corner in the NFL. He can also play safety. So that's definitely going to help his case. A guy playing behind Tyre and a guy playing behind Marcus May in that safety role. That'll be a very, very nice pickup for the Saints. That's a guy that definitely would make the team if the Saints drafted him. Then you got 2 7-round picks. You got B.J. Thompson from Stephen F. Austin. They like this A- for this pick. I did some research on him. Speed rusher off the edge, a guy that got a couple sacks at Stephen F. Austin. Though, hey, you can never have too many pass rushers. Bring them in, see what happens. Then I got a safety. Tyreek Jones of Boise State, just a safety, another depth position for the Saints. You know, we didn't have too many safeties last year. We had Daniel Sorensen out there playing, which he did play well when he was out there, but I'm sure the Saints don't want to have a repeat of that again. So you draft two guys, you know, an edge rusher, a safety to fill that depth. Only thing I didn't like about this draft, it gets an A from PFF. It also gets an A from me. Only reason why I didn't get an A plus because I couldn't get an offensive lineman I would like to the draft. You know, offensive lineman, but with the Saints' history and undrafted free agency, I'm not too upset with that. They'll find one, you know, add them to the roster, add them to that depth chart because you can never have too many offensive linemen. We had so many hurt last season. But this is the best mock I've done so far, in my opinion. Let me know what y'all think about it. Like I said, Anthony Richardson, Josh Downs, Isaiah Foskey, Keanu Benton, Tajay Spears, Octavius Morton, B.J. Thompson, Tyreek Jones. That's a super, super good group. That's a solid draft. If the Saints did this, hey, they'll get an A from me. I'll get no complaints from Mickey Loomis. And then it'll just be all in Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael hands. But, yeah, we're not going to jump into that. But, man, let me know what y'all think about this mock draft in the comments below. As always, this is the Boo Tragedy. Send them out.